Hey guys, JD here with the 2022 Kawasaki Ultra 310, and today I wanted to show you some of the gear I wear while out on the water. I'm also going to show you what I've got in each of my compartments. We'll go over that a little bit later in the video. Alright, so starting out here, I've owned a lot of life jackets over the years, and for PWCs, I've typically bought neoprene vests in the past, but this time I've got this Jet Pilot side entry vest. And what I really like about this is it's got a ton, and maybe I could show you from the side here, it's got a lot of padding in it, in the back and especially in the front. And if you go over and hit the handlebars or you have some sort of impact to the chest area, this really cushions a lot of it. The side entry, these straps kind of flap in the wind. That's the only thing. You could just secure them to the other straps. I've seen vests that have like a clip. So that would be my only complaint about this. The next thing is the safety lanyard. I purchased this. It's an Atlantis. It clips onto this little toggle on the vest here. And I think this is safer than the wrist cutoff, because with the wrist cutoff, you know, you'll go to raise your hand or move your hand and accidentally pull it off of the engine and cut the engine off. So I like this vest attached safety lanyard. The next thing I've got here is these are Jet Pilot gloves. I believe these are the Jet Pilot Matrix gloves. So they've got some reinforcement and some gripping throughout the palm and in the fingers. They've got a Velcro clasp. I found that this Velcro clasp is a little shallow. Sometimes it does pop open, but for the most part, these are really nice gloves. They dry out really easily. They don't get moldy or anything like that. So next I've got my helmet. Now there's a lot. I actually have like 4 different helmets. I like this one because it's got a mount for the GoPro already epoxied to it. And I've got this tether screwed to the helmet already, so I typically will wear this one. I've got a set of, these are just Smith polarized motorcycle or snowmobile goggles. I like those. They you could get them in a bunch of different varieties from Amazon. And so then I'll show you the boots I wear. Now boots are good, especially if you're out in the ocean, if you're jumping waves, if you're going through wakes. If you stand up on the ski and you're just barefoot, you're gonna flop around. These boots actually help you get a much better grip on the ski itself. And then if you want to walk around the sandbar or walk through the boat ramp, you don't need to take your shoes off. You don't need to worry about slipping and sliding because these boots have a lot of grip. So the first set here, these are by Jet Pilot. They actually run a little bit small for me, but they do have a real nice sturdy bottom. They are made of neoprene, so they drain and dry pretty quickly. Zipper on the side. And then I've got these. These are actually boots that I used for diving too. These actually are a little bit heavier, but I do like that they're great when I get off the ski, walk around in the flats or at the sandbar. They protect your feet, especially down here in Florida. You have stingrays and urchins and all kinds of stuff. All right, now finally, so if everybody's familiar with this warning that comes on the ski, it tells you only 2 things. 1, wear a PFD, personal flotation device, and 2, wear neoprene shorts. They specify to wear neoprene. Now why is that? Why do they have these warnings on the ski? It's not for fun. Enough people had to get hurt for them to put those warnings on there. So taking their advice, I purchased, these are 2, I believe these are, oh, there you go, 1.5 mil Scuba Pro TPF1 shorts. And these were, you know, in Florida here, it doesn't tend to get very cold. So I wanted something thin. The material is pretty thin. They dry out easily. And these are great for providing protection in case you fall off the ski so that the jet pump doesn't cause any damage to your insides. Now when it is colder, I've got a 3 and 5 millimeter Scuba Pro wetsuit here, and I will wear the full wetsuit out in the water. Keeps you nice and warm the whole day. And you don't need, at least down here in Florida, this is a 3 and 5 mil, and in our coldest days out in the ocean, this is perfect for me. Oh, there you go. Wanted to take a jump. So that's the last look at the gear that I use while I'm riding out in the water. And next, I'm going to show you what gear I keep in the compartments. So you won't hear me be very critical of the ski, You know, I love it. It's the most fun I've ever had out on the water. But there is one thing that I do share complaints about. My biggest criticism of the ski is that my helmet can't fit in the compartment here. It's nice when you go to the sandbar or you want to hang out with some friends to put the helmet away. Well, guess what? It doesn't fit in here. Anyway, I'll show you what does fit in here and what I keep in here. So first we've got these bumpers. These are suction cup fenders. They stick to the side of the ski. Yeah, okay. Here's the other one. So those are fenders. They're good for the dock. They stick to the side of the ski if you're at a rougher dock. I tend to try to avoid those. Next, I always keep with me, I prefer a sealed quart just because it's sealed, so there's no chance of water getting in there. This is a sealed quart of 10W40 motor oil. The ski shouldn't burn very much oil, but I always keep extra oil on me in every vehicle. You never could be too safe about that. And besides keeping an extra quart of oil, I always keep this K100, or there's another product I don't actually have any on me right now. It's a Rizlone octane booster with MMT in it. This actually boosts octane as well, K100. So always make sure that you keep, with a supercharged ski like this, you want to make sure you have a product like K100 or an octane booster on you at any given time. If you're stuck or you're forced to fill up with a lower grade of fuel. So I also keep this, this is a spare tow rope. Now this is in case I have to tow somebody or someone needs to tow me. I always want the option to be able to do that. So I keep this extra. It's probably about, I don't know, maybe 25 feet of line. Next, I've got a retractable paddle. Now, hopefully the ski will never break down on me, but when it does, I want to at least be able to get myself out of the channel so that I can radio for help. So this is perfect. It fits down in the compartment. They're not expensive. So next, I've got a set of these spring dock lines. These are good for securing the ski. They make it real easy. The next thing I've got in here is an anchor kit. This is just a really small coated Danforth anchor with a line and a float in a bag there. The next thing I keep with me out of my rides is this Kawasaki cooler. It's just enough for a sandwich or a couple drinks. It's not a real big cooler, but it fits down in there. Finally, I've got my salt away mixer, my little dongle assembly with the quick connect fittings, and this is for flushing the ski. You might be asking, why am I keeping this in the ski? Well, it's imperative that the ski's flushed after every use, so this stays with the ski in case, you know, maybe I went home to someone else's house or I didn't go home right away. I always want access to this equipment so that I can maintain the ski properly and get all that salt water out of the engine. All right, so next let's take a look in the side compartment here and see what I carry with me. So I've showed this before, and the first thing you'll see is I always carry a floating marine VHF radio. This one has GPS in it. It also has an emergency function. So if you pull open this distress tab, it has a strobe light that flashes. It also will send an emergency signal with your GPS coordinates to the US Coast Guard so that they can find you. It's very important. This is, I believe it's about 8 watts. So really far offshore, this will not function, but in coastal waters and flats, and within, I would say, maybe 3 miles of shore, this radio will function. You know, of course, you could get another vessel out on the water that might be closer. So it is good to have this. As always, I wouldn't go out in the water without a radio like this. It's also, if you go through the locks or you go through bridges or anywhere where you need to contact other vessels or authorities, this is very good to have with you. Also on board with me, I always keep, this is one of the louder whistles you can get. You always just want to have a signaling device. By law in Florida, you're required to have a signaling device. So I always keep this in the compartment here. I have another smaller whistle that's in this bag as well, but this is, the ones that look like this are the loudest decibel whistles you can get. And speaking of Florida law here, I just also wanted to show you that in the state of Florida, you're also required at all times to have a fire extinguisher on your vessel. So you'll see on the Kawasaki that's located right here in this compartment. My Yamahas, they were mounted down in the front there, and the problem was water would get in there and rust out the fire extinguisher. Anyone that owns one will know what I'm talking about. So I like that they squared this away under here. It doesn't get water in it. That fire extinguisher should last for a long time. All right, so back to the compartment here. I have my Kawasaki dry bag. I usually put my wallet, car keys, maybe a towel in case I have to wipe off the camera or something in this bag. That bag does float. It's also fully waterproof, so I do like that. Since I do ride in the ocean, sometimes I ride close to a sunset, I also keep this sealed bag of flares with me. This has 3 flares. You know, if I had an engine problem, lost radio contact, and was stuck floating on the ocean, at least this is a method of last resort to try to alert and signal somebody. They also do work during the day, as you can see there, to flag down an authority, especially if they're looking for you. This makes your visibility out in the ocean much greater, and your chances of being rescued if you're lost or in trouble, they increase that probability that you'll be rescued by many, many times. So this is my document container. This is just a watertight container. It has the registration, it has my boater's license that's required in the state of Florida. It's got some paperwork regarding the insurance that I carry on the vessel, on the ski. And I believe that's just about it, this compartment. This is the toolkit that came with the ski. It was down in the front there. I just relocated it up here, just so I don't want it to get wet. I threw some of these extra plugs in there. I've had this apart, as you guys know if you watch the channel. And then this is just a bottle of water. It's you know, it gets warm and it's been in there, but just in case, and I always bring water with me, but just in case there's an emergency, I like to just know that there's one floating around in there. So I'm just gonna load all this back in. And then finally, the last compartment here in the back, I just keep these 2 extra dock lines back here. I've had them in here since I got the ski. Pretty much every ride you guys have seen that I do, these were in there. They don't come out. They stay in there pretty good. So keep those with me at all times, in addition to the spring lines. And that's pretty much it, guys. That's a look at what I bring with me out on the water, what I keep. This is what I keep in the ski. And that's it.